Hey, what's up guys, Riv here. Sorry for the lack of a VTuber model today. I'm currently traveling and using my laptop that has the processing power of a potato, so no model today. But of course, we're talking more about these two individuals, Hasan and Pokimane. Yes, they have completely snapped. They have lost it. Okay, I don't know if their like insanity cycles are linked or something, but recently, it's like every time Hasan does something stupid, Pokimane says, "Hold my beer, I'll do something stupid too." And what we're going to look at today, involving Hasan at least, is some major crash outs. He tried to share his political wisdom on a YouTube collab, and he's getting absolutely roasted for his takes, especially his takes supporting communism. And then we're going to be looking at him basically admitting he's grifting and he's bored of his own grift. And then we're going to see him crash out at his own community. It's a whole mess. But let's start with Pokimane. If you look up girl boss in the dictionary, there's a picture of Pokimane waiting for you. Now, recently we talked about this clip right here with a very unfortunate still for her, where she gave some advice on how to handle breakups and move on, which, as Nux points out here, it's very simple how a lot of people are responding to this. Basically, nobody wants advice on relationships from an unmarried 30-year-old who virtue signals for a living, okay? Nobody really cared. But she's gone back. Now, there's like 3 stages to what Pokimane's been doing the last couple of days. That first one, I guess, was like her desperate plea or trying to give advice. And now we're in the next stage, which is acceptance. She's basically come out with a clip saying why she isn't married as a 29-year-old public figure.
Here's why I'm not married yet. My parents keep asking, so I'm just gonna send them this video. 1. Dating while being a public figure has its difficulties. If I go on a dating app, I'm either bombarded with people asking if it's really me, or I get banned because they think I'm catfishing myself. Meeting up with a stranger is risky enough, but even more so after instances where a guy will pretend they don't know who I am, and then I find out they knew all along. I also think that, as a career-oriented woman, I don't want to settle for someone who's insecure about what I do or wants to control me. I guess you could say I'm on a romantic cooldown of sorts. And lastly, I simply didn't feel it was ever the right time or opportunity to get married in my early to mid-20s. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Between a pandemic, the economy being in the toilet, and there just being bigger things to worry about, it's kind of nice to see that people aren't rushing into marriage like they used to.
The level of copium is through the charts. Like I said, we're in the acceptance stage right now. And a lot of people are bringing this up because of her age. She's 29, she's unmarried, and she's acting like that's what I want to do. That's really cool. And you know what? There are people out there who really want to do it. But also a lot of people are tricked into thinking that's the most important thing as a woman. You know, you got to be a girl boss and make lots of money. And who cares if you don't have a relationship or kids or anything like that? Just go chase the bag, queen. All that kind of stuff. But there's a lot of other people who use that as a cope, as a shield, saying, oh no, this is what I want to do. I want to be in this position, which, again, I think is just a lot of copium. And, you know, the memes have been flooding in. It's TikTok, okay? TikTok. But this is the next level of insanity, the next level of copium, the next level of narcissism. Pokimane has proposed to herself.
I bought an engagement ring for myself. Okay, but you guys told me to. In the comments my last video, you guys kept talking about a ring. A lot of you were saying, girl, just go get one for yourself. So that's what I did. A ring at Bulgari that I just fell in love with. It felt like way too much to get for myself, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, I hope someday I actually get engaged. The person that you are engaged to the most in your entire lifetime is your damn self. So why shouldn't I get this ring for my damn self? So this is me proposing to myself. Damn! Will I be with me for the rest of my life? Well, yes, I've no choice, but yes.
Okay, if we can find a picture of Pokimane when we look up girl boss in the dictionary, we can add narcissist in there too, because this is absolutely insane. She literally is engaged to herself. Now, there are some like schizo theories out there, right? Some people are saying this is a 5D chess move, where basically she's actually married, but she's hiding this, concealing it from her fan base, so they keep simping for her. That's a tinfoil hat conspiracy, but I have seen that, but I don't think that's really the case. I think she's just doing this act of virtue signaling to try to comfort herself or try to cope with the fact that she's probably not in a position in life that she wants to be, despite being a millionaire who seems to have it all on the surface. Now, some people have pointed out correctly, saying here, reminds me of, with a screenshot of an article which features Anita Sarkeesian. Now, for those who are not familiar, she is like the ground center of the first Gamergate movement back in 2014. She was one of the people who actually spoke before the UN about how awful and terrible it is for a woman to try to not only be in the industry, but to even play video games, and how it was a matter of international concern. Of course, eventually her grift kind of fell off, and eventually she attended a very real fake wedding where she and others dressed up in wedding dresses and got married as a LARP. Yeah, we're seeing that again with Pokimane. It's kind of crazy how history repeats itself, huh? But don't worry, there's still plenty of people to defend Pokimane no matter what she does. See comments like this, honestly, queen behavior. If the streets won't give you the energy you deserve, you give it to yourself or shut them up. Brother, you gotta stop. This is terrible behavior. You gotta move on from this. This is just too much, man. But of course, it gets worse. This is the final clip we're gonna look at for Pokimane. She recently bragged about having a stalker of 6 years and that she gave his life meaning. This is parasocialism and narcissism on levels we never thought possible.
Sometimes I sit at home alone and I think about my stalker. Yeah, that's right. He's been stalking me for years and he is obsessed with any guy I talk to, anyone I date, anyone he thinks I'm dating. I swear, if I post a photo with my dad and I don't say it's my dad, he's in that guy's DMs talking about me. It's crazy. Whatever. I think about my stalker, but particularly because I'm not in a relationship right now, I think he must be so bored. He has nothing to obsess over. I give his life meaning and I'm giving none. This season of my life is not giving.
I've had a stalker for 6 years and I give him hope in his life and I have a stalker of 6 years, and I gave his life meaning. Weird flex, but okay. Yeah, this is totally not deranged behavior, and honestly, at the end of the day, that stalker's probably quite a weirdo, but hey, you know what? He probably didn't marry himself, so at least there's that for him. But let's move on to Hasan Piker, as we all know, is making his propaganda trip to China, where he's been getting praise from the Chinese state-run media, where he tried to, in an interview, prop up China and say it's misunderstood, and he's here to show everyone how great China is and their regime. And then we have the official Chinese embassy in United States account do a peeking eye emoji over that interview. Who else would something like this happen to in the streaming scene, where you have the literal Chinese media and the Chinese government praising you? It's absolutely insane. But let's move on to some more insanity coming from this trip. We all know he is simping hard for communism. He has drank the Kool-Aid, you know, the millionaire socialist, the champagne socialist, if you will. He recently went on a channel called Trigonometry, and as you can see, it's going horrendously. 4,700 likes versus 7,700 dislikes. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This guy is like an absolute destroyer of channels. Anytime this guy collabs, he's going to get them dislike ratioed. It doesn't matter what political leaning the channel has. It doesn't matter what the topic is of the channel, their focus. He is going to be a negative impact on them. And in this video, he goes over his claim that he has no problem with communism. In fact, he simps for communism. Let's give a quick listen to a clip from this video.
You said something interesting, because, you know, I was born in the Soviet Union, so we both have direct experience of socialism in various shapes and forms. You talked about, well, there's positives and there's negatives. So is there a country that's done socialism the way that you like?
I would say that I am hypercritical of all forms of governance, including the American one. I think that's not a surprise to you guys, right? And in that same vein, I think like there is critiques to apply to all forms of governance, even socialist ones.
course.
Yeah.
And as far as like getting closer to what I think has been relatively successful, because if ultimately the point of government is to improve the material conditions of all people, on that, I would say China is probably the closest. And there are still plenty of failures within the Chinese system as well, plenty of issues within the Chinese system as well. But that's probably the closest, I would say, to an example that we should follow and lessons that we should learn from. This is something that I talk about quite a bit.
Yeah, I bet this goes hard if you're like an edgy 14-year-old trying to figure out the world. Yeah, this guy and his obsession with communism is just laughable, to say the least. Not only is it just embarrassing to simp for communist regimes, it's just stupid. It's just stupid, and it's hypocritical for a guy like him who would never want to give back to anyone or redistribute his own wealth. We all know that's a giant LARP of his. I don't know if it's delusions in his head or it's all just a LARP, who knows? But at the end of the day, he looks completely unrelatable to anyone listening to this, including his own audience, by the way, who's slowly kind of waking up. But let's read some of the comments. I looked for about 5+ minutes. I couldn't find anything remotely positive about this video, and it has 200K views. Here's some examples. This person with 3,500 likes, almost as many likes as the video itself, saying people who like communism are usually the ones who never lived under it. Very true. The next one with 2,500 likes, saying rich boy promoting communism. He's the biggest grifter around. The next one with nearly 2,000 likes, saying a Muslim communist. I wonder what the end goal is here. Here's some more, saying he's a communist with a Gucci bag. Got his Prada kicks. Gotta have his swag. That's, of course, from the song Communist with a Gucci Bag, which is about Hasan, of course. The next one says, trigonometry, better interview Asmongold. Oh, please. I would love to see that. It would absolutely, no pun intended, trigger Hasan greatly. Here's another comment saying it's a total waste of time to try to deal with a fundamentally dishonest person like Chunk's nephew. My grandma had a saying that covers it. Never try to teach a pig to sing. It just frustrates you and confuses the pig. The lying dog abuser would be the pig in this scenario. Well, thank you for the clarity. I'm glad we cleared that up. But that's a pretty good saying. And then the last one says, Hasan talks the most, yet says the least, Piker. Now, it's getting to him, okay? He is not happy about how this turned out in the public reception of this interview, and he is fuming at the comment section. He is literally hate watching his own comment section on this video and seeing people just tear him apart. It is the funniest thing ever. Him coming to the realization that, I guess people really don't like me and my political views.
And it's wild that there's like no counter argument beyond, oh, this guy is a rich socialist. What a fucking hypocrite. It's like, okay, dude, well, you're a poor capitalist. You know what I mean? I'd rather be a fucking rich socialist than a broke boy defending capitalism. You know, you are advocating against your class interest.
Lucy, like, you got some splaining to do.
Yeah. What's your journey? What's been your journey through life? My rich daddy paid for everything. Then my rich Uncle Jen gave me a job. Now I'm here with you. True. Well, I did start the interview by saying I'm a nepotism.
Yeah, you kind of like it's that one is a little bit hard when you like are pretty like you're explicitly saying that, not like
Yeah. Also, I financially take care of my dad, and I've been independent since 2020.
Did anyone else notice the way he diverts every time he gets cornered? They ask about immigration, he starts talking about trans issues.
Yeah, guys, he's totally not mad. He's totally not mad right now. I've been noticing of recent, especially ever since the shot caller incident, he's getting increasingly angry, increasingly insecure, looking at more hate threads and hate comments, and he's also getting mad at his own audience, which we'll see in just a second. But he also recently revealed this, that he was offered a CBS debate with Ben Shapiro, and he declined because CBS requested that the debate topic would be about capitalism rather than Israel and Palestine. And here's Hasan's very interesting response to that.
I leaked some tea after this video was going viral on Twitter, And that tea is that they literally are trying to get me to do a fucking debate on CBS News with a person that happens to be on this panel, Ben fucking Shapiro. That's right. They literally want me to do a CBS News debate with Ben Shapiro. And I said I would do it as long as it was about Israel-Palestine. And they want to do it over capitalism. And I was like, that's boring.
Like Ben Shapiro or not, I think on the topic of capitalism, Hasan would have gotten bulldozed. It would have been a massacre, okay? And the thing with this is, look at his language. He's basically saying one of the most important topics, because clearly he's such a big supporter of communism. He hates capitalism, despite the fact that that's what made him a millionaire. But he calls it boring. He calls a topic that's very important to him, or at least supposed to be, boring. He's pretty much calling his own takes on that a grift. Like, it's a boring grift to him now. It's absolutely insane. It's pretty mask off when you think about it. And here's some of the comments. Bro knows he'd be more cooked than Biden's brain and dipped. Bro knows how much of a hypocrite he is. Poor dog just sits there in the corner all day. My entire grift is boring. I see he's still forcing his dog to be a prop in the background, and then one of the funniest AI gifs that's come out of this situation. Go, Kaya, go. Free yourself. But things get worse. So we've seen criticism of his political views. He's seeing it. He's seething about it. Then we're seeing him basically admit topics that are supposed to be important to him are boring. Now we're seeing him go after his own audience. And it happens because Burnt Peanut might not like him. So in case you're not familiar, Burnt Peanut is a pretty popular streamer who's gotten a lot of attention recently. A little controversy because he was nominated in the Streamer Awards for the topic of Best VTuber. And some people are like, you're not a VTuber. I don't really know. I don't really care because the Streamer Awards are a joke. But that's how a lot of people got introduced to him recently. And his streams do really well. And people think he's entertaining. But someone brought up this guy, this Burnt Peanut person. And you can watch the level of mental gymnastics Hasan is using to try to act like he cares but doesn't care. And then he scolds his own community. He's almost getting self-aware, guys. He's almost self-aware.
Play Arc Raiders with Burnt Peanut. I don't know who this Burnt Peanut guy is, but I've been seeing him on my TikTok feed like nonstop. It was pretty... but this guy's been playing a lot of Arc Raiders. I've been seeing his clips. Burnt Peanut or Butter Peanut. He talks shit about you. Don't play with him. Seni sevmiyor. Bungulator. Oh, he doesn't like me. Oh, I don't give a shit. Oh my god, another streamer that I've never met. Do not play with him. He's a fucking fascist. I highly doubt that he is a fascist, chatter. He's a professor of Marxism at Yale. Yeah. He gets paranoid because of your politics. He gets paranoid, understandably, because I have chatters in here that immediately went, do not even touch that guy with a 10-foot pole. He's a fascist. And obviously, if you're like a normal content creator, why in the ever-loving fuck would you ever want to be around someone like myself whose community instantly goes, that's a white supremacist, racist, fascist? Yeah. Why would anybody subject themselves to that kind of insincere, psychopathic lens? Also, remember, most people at this point, like their norm politics are basically fucking center right to far right at this point.
Nux getting a double feature here, giving a pretty accurate breakdown. I'd love to collab with this guy. Oh, this guy hates me? Oh, I don't care. It's also not my fault. He must hate me because my fans are awful. Zaps dog. Yeah, I'm surprised when he gets angry like this, he doesn't just pull out the shock collar and go to town. But, you know, of course, that wouldn't be real. He'd just be, you know, reaching for his Zins or letting people through his gate, or it's a vibrating collar, or there's no collar at all, or it's Zionist propaganda, or, you know, all the other excuses he's made over the course of time. But yeah, brutal. Yeah, he finds out people don't really like him. And from what I hear, right, it sounds like the burnt peanut guy, might have made like a shock collar joke. And that's pretty much it. Like, shock collar joke, you're fascist now. And yeah, a little bit of self-awareness from Hasan. At least he knows his community, because why would anyone want to collab with that guy? Like, politics aside, right? Just forget all of his politics. If you show up in his stream and you've ever done anything that is even a tiny bit wrong in the eyes of his audience, they're going to call you a fascist. They're going to try to cancel you. They're going to harass you, if not worse. So, yeah, I get why nobody would want to collaborate, and he's even aware of that. But also, that is the community you've been pandering to for years. So I don't think it should surprise anyone like Hasan. This is the fruits of your own labor. But yeah, that is the video for today. Very interesting stuff. They are definitely going toe-to-toe with who can be the most obnoxious virtue signaler in the last couple of days. But I'm just here for it, you know? It's good entertainment. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.